As we kick off hour number 2 here, we go to our guest line. If you happen to be watching us on QSportsTalk.com, you will see Torrey Ball live and in person, Deputy Athletics Director of Business Development. Torrey, big weekend ahead. How are you today?
Man, it's a busy one. I'm excited, but there's so much going on. There's so much excitement here about what's going on this weekend. I don't even know if anybody ever talks about this. I don't know if y'all even got to this. Y'all know we have rowing this week? Like we really
is that right?
It's crazy. Men's rowing, first home event in a little while, but we have rowing going on. If you guys want to get out at 8 o'clock in the morning, you guys can come see some rowing.
I watch them practice all the time out on the lake when I'm walking my dog.
They're right by
walking
you.
my dog. It's crazy the amount of work those guys put in.
Yeah, they do.
I don't think I have dedicated.
No. I didn't hear you, Torrey. What'd you say?
Oh, no, I said I just don't think I had the leg strength. Everybody thinks rowing is all arms, but you got to have a leg strength.
Yeah.
I could be the guy who just stands out there and yells at him.
keeps him on schedule. All right, Torrey, keep us on schedule here. Let's talk about Saturday. You mentioned rowing. I know a couple marquee events. Of course, you've got Gary Gate and his SU men's lacrosse team taking out Virginia. His brother Paul will have his jersey retired, and then of course the spring game, the football game at 7. It sounds like quite a few alums are coming back for both sports, 100-plus lacrosse alums. I know a lot of football players are back as well. I saw the list today. It's a lot of names on both lists there. From an alumni perspective, how important is this weekend, Torrey, to get those guys reconnected with these programs?
I think it's always important to have these kind of marquee weekends for alumni. It creates a culture of family, which I know Fran is really, really important for Fran, but I also know it's important for lacrosse and Gary too. And I know it's especially important for him this weekend with his brother's jersey retirement. But as an alumni, it feels good to be wanted by your alma mater and people to ask you to come back and just show support in the way that, especially how Fran has been doing over the last, 4 or 5 months that he's been our head coach.
All right, I want you to take off your work hat for a moment here and put on your former player hat. You've obviously been, in the program. You can look at it from an alum perspective. I know you still got friends who, played at SU. What has the feedback been like about Fran Brown from a former player's perspective? And is it different than past head coaches being here?
I think from past players I've spoken to over the last week, I've talked to Rob Long and Darrell Smith. They're just really excited about how much enthusiasm that Fran has brought to the community and our teammates. Like, hey, I get calls probably every other week saying, hey, did you tell Fran to call me? Like he called me and he just wants to talk about football. And I'm like, no, that's just him. That's just who he is. Like he wants to engage former players and he wants to show them that they're important for this program. And I think that's what alumni feel. And that's why there's so much excitement. And that's why so many people want to come back for what people would call a glorified practice.
You mentioned it's a glorified practice, but the spring game is important to a lot of football teams. And I don't think I'm speaking at a school that it hasn't been greatly attended by Syracuse fans. How do you get the Syracuse fan base excited for this?
I think this year it holds its own mystique, right? Like this is probably going to be one of the last football events, if not the last football event that'll have those metal bleacher seats, right? This will be Fran Brown's first coaching debut, some of the coordinators. But then you start thinking about the players that we got, and Fran has been doing a crazy job in recruiting. And that's where the excitement comes, with all of the things just kind of hitting the head right now. And culminating towards the spring game. I think all of those things make it exciting for the fan to want to come see. And so that's why people are going to want to come to the spring game, along with, seeing your friends that you haven't seen in a while.
All right, Torrey, you brought up the metal benches, so let's go there next. Where do things stand? Bring us up to date where things stand with the seat selection process, and as we turn over the dome and getting season ticket holders into their new seats. Where do things stand? What are some of the key dates we need to keep in mind?
Right. So next week is a key date for everybody. May 1st. That I guess that's 2 weeks now, but May 1st is a key date for everybody. That'll be our drop dead date for donor rank, but it'll also be the last date for renewals of your season tickets. So it's really important for this year in particular that everybody renew their tickets by that May 1st deadline, because that's what locks you in to get your seat selection. With seat selection coming up in June, May 1st is more important than it's ever been. We've probably had the same renewal date for the last 3, 4, or 5 years, but it's even more important this year, because if you don't lock yourself into renewals, you won't get to select, the best possible seat for you.
All right, I do have a question regarding the seat selection. So I've had a few people come to me. They're season ticket holders. They say, you know what, we want to re-up, but we've been going to these games for years. We sit, either in front of each other or behind each other. Our donor ranks are different. We want to be in the same, general vicinity. We want to still be able to enjoy the games together, but, we can't be guaranteed that we're going to be side by side or front and back. What would you recommend to those folks? Is there anything they could do to make sure that they're, that the friends are staying together in clusters, or is it just something that it's going to be left up, entirely to chance with the process?
So nothing is left up to chance. I think we have to be, and I've said this numerous times, we have to be the best we can at customer service. We know this is a hard time for people. People have had seats, 20 and 30 years. And so we are sensitive to that. So if those issues do come up, what I implore people to do is reach out to our ticket office. You can call a sales rep at 188-DOME-TICKS, and you call that sales rep, and they'll be able to figure out a solution for you that fits you and the people that you want to sit around.
Torrey, the Paul Gates jersey's getting retired this weekend, and we got questions in our chat about this. What is the process of a player getting his jersey retired in any sport at Syracuse?
Well, I wasn't good enough to even get my jersey considered to be retired. I retired them on my own wall back here. But the process, it's an internal process. There's some steps that we take internally. There's a committee that tosses around criteria and ideas of who the next person or persons to have their jerseys retired are. And then it's a process that is a really year round. So the committee meets year round to talk about who is deserving, why they're deserving, and what those criteria are.
Torrey, we talked about the process for the season ticket holders who already exist. What about, and I know there's a lot of excitement with Fran Brown and this program, what about new season ticket holders? What do they need to do to make sure they've got a good seat going into the fall?
So the best way to lock your seat in, or lock your priority in, is to log in or call DOME-TICKS, or create a MyCuse account at cuse.com/tickets and submit your it's $99 is basically a deposit that'll go down, and you'll be put in the queue, and you'll actually have a seat selection priority. You'll have a priority rank, and you'll have a seat selection. So all new season ticket holders will be put in that $99 level. But by the time your selection is in June, you'll have an opportunity to upgrade those seats. So I always tell people, if you're thinking that you want to get season tickets, the best way to lock in the best possible seat is to get in now. Lock in that $99 deposit. And then, once your seat selection is chosen, you'll have a chance to upgrade to better seats.
All right, Torrey. I know I said it's a big weekend. There's so much to talk about. Anything else that you want to touch on and get across to our listeners and viewers while we have you on here today?
I mean, this weekend is just a big weekend for Syracuse athletics in general. Syracuse athletics has rowing, we have men's lacrosse, and we have our spring football game all on the 20th, which is amazing. But then looking into next week and the week after that, we have that priority deadline that's really important for us. And if you want tickets, if you're excited about Fran Brown, you're excited about Coach Jack, you're excited about Red, and our men's basketball program, which they're also doing an amazing job in recruiting right now. If you're excited about those things and you want to come to games and you want to support, the best way to do that is by locking in your tickets by May 1st.
Do you have any idea? Do you have a rough estimate for us how many people we might see inside the Dome Saturday night for the spring game? Do you have a feel for that, or is it? Are you going to be curious just like the rest of us?
No, my rough estimate is absolute sellout, 100% capacity. Nobody, no room to move. Concessions. We're gonna make a lot on concessions. No, I really do think it's gonna be one of the best spring games attendance over the last 10 years. I think right now we're between 12 and 15,000 tickets claimed. Hopefully, all of those people do show up.
All right. I love the energy. I always love talking with you, Torrey. Thanks so much for coming on. Good luck this weekend, and good luck throughout this seat selection process. We appreciate it. And anytime you want to come on, you know that our door is always open. Open invitation anytime you want to come on, Torrey.
Absolutely. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate you guys.
All right. Torrey Ball, Deputy Athletics Director for Business Development. And with that, we'll open the phone lines back up, 315-437-7644. Quick time out here. We're back after this on ESPN Radio.